Right, well, summer travel is here, but did you know that 1 in 5 consumers go into debt just because of their vacation? 81% of consumers incur over 500 US dollars worth of debt on their summer plans. So what are the best ways to plan the trip that you want to take and continue to save? Well, that's what Accrue Savings seeks to answer for us. It's a growing fintech company that offers a new option to help consumers save while paying for their products. And joining us is the founder and CEO, Michael Hershfield. Michael, thank you so much for joining us here. So talk about what Accrue does to really help people not have to go into debt when it comes to saving for vacations.
Well, thanks for having me on. I mean, you answered the question. In many ways, Americans have over $1 trillion in credit card debt in the United States. And with 1 in 5 Americans going into credit card debt to travel, you can see this growing threat to American personal balance sheet. And so, at Accrue, the company's a year and a half old. We just partnered with CheapAware, one of the largest OTAs in the United States. This notion that Americans are actively saving and there needs to be an alternative path for Americans to do what they love. We love to travel as Americans. That path of saving up for a trip is so important. And this rising trend around buy now, pay later as well, that many airlines and many OTAs have taken on, continues to put pressure on American consumers because of the rising risk of credit to their own personal lives.
And are we seeing more of these airlines and these sort of holiday companies adding that feature of some sort of save now, pay later? And how is that affecting things?
Yeah, I mean, we're the first of its kind in the world to offer something like this. So over the last 5-6 years, you've seen a growing trend around buy now, pay later, which is obviously the debt short-term consumer credit debt installment plan. And Accrue is a very different vision that saving, the active saving by American consumers should be offered. And so what we introduced our first partner, which was CheapAware, one of the largest OTAs in the United States, to give consumers that choice. What's interesting, we've seen in our research, 25% of Americans right now are actively saving for travel. And historically, they've never been incentivized to do that. I mean, the counter action is being taken by so many airline and OTAs, and frankly, all retailers, not just in the travel category, by trying to get consumers to use credit, maybe use money they don't have. And because Americans are actively doing a behavior which is saving, there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity for that sensitivity that brands and airlines can have to give them the opportunity to engage with consumers, to save with them in a way that's inspiring before they make the purchase, before they're ready to buy right now. And that's the hope, and that's the opportunity, and why we've grown so quickly in such a fast fashion. And I also want to talk about travel in general, right? If only 8% of Americans are using points, and the beautiful statistic you have right now are using points, that means the majority of Americans need to use their own money to make a purchase. And so we have to be very careful as Americans to make sure we're spending money that we have, not spending money we don't have. Because as the rising trillion-dollar credit card crisis comes and hits, we need to make sure that we're in the right place.
And that's interesting because a lot of people, they'll gravitate towards a credit card because they're like, look, I can get the points to spend on travel. Do you think then that sort of way of paying for trips will die out as companies like yours are able to get perhaps more customers?
Oh, we believe so. And actually, what's trend line from millennials and Gen Zs is there's tremendous insecurity and headwinds, particularly around credit. But the thing that millennials are more scared of in their life is credit card debt. The statistics and the data continues to show that the credit card debt is a great fear, the number one fear for millennials. And Gen Zers are the ones that are jumping onto the debit card usage. And so there's this growing trend of the American consumer, the young consumer, of using alternative paths, payment diversity to engage with airlines, OTAs, hotels, et cetera. And so companies like us, Accrue, as we expand and partner with airlines and partner with OTAs and partner with hotel brands to offer that choice, we think that will be another path for them. Right? Your generations change how they spend their money. And the credit cards of my parents and generations after that is obviously being incredibly impactful. And it's not necessarily negative, but there are other ways. And American consumers of the millennial generation and Gen Zers, they want another way. They saw the debt crisis, both that it impacted people in their lives, and they want to necessarily do something different. And obviously, we're seeing a rising credit card delinquency rate in the United States with short-term consumer credit in buy now, pay later, and in credit cards. And that's the behaviors that we're going to see major change in the next few years to come.
And certainly demand, at least for travel, not slowing down anytime soon. What are some of the top tips then, so that people can try and save on their travel plans, especially if they're able to do it a little bit earlier, not last minute?
Well, I think, yeah, you have to be thoughtful about it. Last minute travel is obviously very, very expensive. So first thing is around behaviors. Create a budget, start to save. Be aware of the pricing fluctuations that exist in the travel market. Clearly, if you are aware of the huge ranges the pricing may take, you will make a decision at the right time to buy the trip. Also, choose the right time to go. Summertime travel is particularly expensive, so you can push off your travel to fall, other times of the year, which is less expensive. You're going to be more conscious about the budget that you're going to do, and also bundling hotel and travel. A lot of airlines, a lot of OTAs have that opportunity, and that you're going to see a significant reduction of your costs if you're able to do that. It's about thoughtfulness how you spend your money. Obviously, be careful how you use your credit, and budget and use the money you have, because ultimately the darkness of credit rears its ugly head, and it's important to make sure you're spending within your means.
And Michael, of course, just quickly, you mentioned CheapoAir there. Talk about that partnership, and are there any other companies that you're targeting in terms of who you'd like to partner with?
Yeah, it's amazing to partner with CheapoAir, one of the largest OTAs in the United States. They've identified this opportunity that 25% of Americans are actively saving right now for a trip. What an opportunity to engage in a relationship much before a user is ready to make the purchase. So we launched with them, and consumers get 6% in path rewards to save up. It's that dopamine, that power of wow. That wow when I'm saving, that reward to save, and ultimately I get the money that I need to buy the purchase. You go and you purchase on CheapoAir for 6% less because you've done that really great behavior to save up for it. And obviously in the next few months, we'll launch with other airlines and other OTAs, hotel brands. This is a moment in time in the U.S. economy that Americans realize that they need to use their budget wisely. There's growing, obviously, risk around recession. There's a white collar. Obviously, there's tremendous job loss with white collar workers. The idea that you have to be more conscious around your budget is really important. And airlines and OTAs are becoming more aware of it. And a company like us, obviously, we've been around for a little under 2 years. The idea that this notion of saving engagement, saving interaction with OTAs is the future, and we're the only player in the category, and really appreciate all of our investors and obviously CheapoAir to be the first major OTA to partner with us. More to come, I promise you, in the next few months and years.
Well, we'll definitely have to have you back on to discuss that when you take on more partnerships. I know consumers happy to try and save on their travel. A big thank you. We'll have to leave it there. Accrue Savings founder and CEO Michael Hershfield. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.